So today I'm making some small watercolour illustrations to turn into bookmarks. I've wanted to do bookmarks for a really long time, but I've not had a printer and I didn't have good watercolours, didn't have good paper, I had no idea how to stretch paper or anything. So I tried to make some before and it was a little bit of a disaster, but it's gonna go good this time. So for the theme of the set of bookmarks, there's going to be 4 and they're going to be based on the seasons. So this first one is spring and I'm doing some kind of blossom floating on some water. I used just a really cheap watercolour pencil. I think it was like £1 for the entire 12 set, so nothing fancy there, and I just used that for the water because I'm not particularly confident in doing large washes of watercolour that are flat when I'm going around a lot of complicated shapes. And then I just go over that with water to make it lose its pencil-y texture. I'm then just adding darker bits onto it to make it look more like water. Although the water really isn't the main feature of this bookmark, so trying to not put too much effort into it because I do that a lot. And then I'm just kind of blending those out a bit because they got a bit harsh. Now I'm just painting in the petals. I just add water and then I add a little bit of pink to it so that it kind of flows out and looks like a nice natural gradient, and I really like the effect that that gave. I'm just adding a little bit more pink there for the ones that didn't look saturated enough. And then I'm painting the middle of the blossom with yellow. Again, using a kind of gradienty natural effect by putting water down and then putting a small dot of yellow in the middle and just letting it flow outwards. Lastly, I'm just adding a little bit more detail to the water because I thought now that the blossoms are coloured in, the water's kind of lost its ripply effect. And then just softening those out slightly so they're less harsh lines. Then I'm using a white jelly roll to add little kind of pollen-y bits inside. I did once know the name of these parts, now I don't. And then I'm using a neon yellow pen to make the little bits at the end of the stems stand out well on top of the pink. Next I'm moving on to my next bookmark, which will be of like a dandelion kind of in front of this kind of summer sunset. So this one's obviously summer themed. And I've never done a gradient background before where I've been able to spend time perfecting the gradient, and I'm really proud of this. Like, it took a really long time, but it turned out really well. I was watching a few YouTube videos on how to do it, because I'm not really very experienced in watercolour at all. I didn't have my own technique of doing it. So I watched a load and then kind of deduced what kind of way would be best for me to do it. So I'm just layering, I'm doing thin layers that are blended down with a wet brush, and then sweeping the excess off, and then using a heat gun to set it, so that the layers don't mix too much in the middle, they just kind of go over the top of each other. It is a slightly different thing, but it's kind of hard to explain. You can kind of see it more than you can explain it, so if you're interested in that you should kind of watch a YouTube video on that. But yeah, I prefer this method of the gradient than just kind of putting the pink at the top and the orange at the bottom and just kind of mixing them together, because I don't particularly like the colour that they create when they mix. Now the background's done, I've just peeled off my masking fluid and I'm painting in the stem for the dandelion. And then I start drawing the dandelion in. I did the middle of it with jelly roll at first and then realised that it'd much be better if I just used acrylic paint. And then I used a grey fine liner to do the little kind of indenty dots on the middle, and then I'm using a brown fine liner to do the seeds. And then I use a jelly roll to do the fluffy bits coming out of the seeds that help it kind of glide through the air. Then I'm just adding a few seeds floating away. So these are the finished products, and next week I'll be doing a video of the autumn and winter bookmarks. And then when that video is put up, I will also put the bookmarks in my Etsy shop, so if you wanted to buy some, you can. Thank you for watching.